Raw being TV-14 save WWE and its falling ratings. I am Luke Owen, DAD, and I'm joined today by the hardest working person in all of sports infotainment, Miss Professional herself with the Netflix scoops. It's Denise Salcedo, everyone. How's it going, Denise?
I was like, where is he going with this? This is new. Where's the professional? It's like, what is he going to be like referring to? Yeah, I'm so fancy, Luke, so...
I mean, clearly I am like, I'm in the presence of scoops now. Like, you're going to put Sean out of business next thing you know.
You know what? I probably am. And it's all going to be driven. When people ask me like, Denise, why'd you do it? Why did you do it? I'm going to be like, I just wanted to drive Sean out of business.
It's what we're all looking to do.
Well, anyway, I don't know what to tell you, Luke. I just, waltzed right into Netflix and I was like, what is going on? And they were like, oh my God, Miss Hollywood is here. We got to tell her everything.
Well, I mean, look what happened on the Raw post show that this past Monday. Like, it was you and Will doing it, and it was actually, arguably a much better show that way.
Oh no, poor Sean. He's gonna be so pissed and be like, what the hell's going on? Amazing. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there's one person in the entire IWC that can have a great show with just about anybody, and it is me.
The true forbidden door of professional wrestling.
How many people haven't I been on here with? It's been, like everybody from WrestleTalk, and after every show, people are like, oh my God, that was such a good show. You're the best duo. And I'm like, I was the best duo with this person, with that person, with this person. We all have a common denominator here.
And we certainly do. I mean, and actually, say his name and he shall appear. Sean's in the chat.
He was in here. He heard you say that. That is so mean. That is so savage. I had nothing to do with it.
I didn't mean it, really. But anyway, we are going to talk about, actually, as people have pointed out, Adam and Denise shows are a bit of a mess.
Everybody, but you know what, though? Everybody really likes those shows with Adam because I don't know why, but people love the anti-chemistry. Like last time when we had to change the news format for because, the whole Vince McMahon news, and we had to break that, and we changed the format of all of this. A bunch of people on Twitter were like, oh, so we're not getting Denise and Adam? Well, that sucks. So a lot of people were writing that.
They wanted 45 minutes of Adam shouting at you about Quizlemania 49. That's all they were looking for.
Can you believe it? People wanted to see that over us talking about Vince McMahon. No, but I think that in terms of like favorites, I would say like Team Denise was definitely up there. I think people like that one as well.
Oh yeah, Team Denise.
Everybody likes Denise, so
everyone's got a big soft spot for Denise, and some people have hard spots for them. It's like people really like that too. They like that duo.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're here to talk about this news. Speaking of TV-14, we are here to talk about the news that came out yesterday through the internet's nicest haircut, Andrew Zarian. Who has said that there is a memo went through the USA Network saying that starting next week, Raw is no longer going to be TV PG. The PG era is over and it's going back to being TV-14. He's then corrected that to say that there's a lot more to this story. There's some hesitation. This is a direct quote from Andrew Zarian. There's some hesitation regarding if this is the right move. We'll have a deeper update either later tonight or in the morning. And he said that if this does change, it's not going to be starting with next week's episode of Raw. Before we dive into some of the other reports about this, Denise, what was your reaction when you heard that we may be getting rid of the PG era?
You see my face right now? That was my reaction. I had no reaction. I feel, and like, I'm going to probably be a party pooper, but I feel like everybody's like, oh my God, the PG era is over. That means we're going to go back to how it was in the attitude. No, we're not. Nothing's going to change. You think anything's going to change, Luke? Whoever thinks that there's going to be this magical, dramatic change is absolutely nuts. And the reason I say that is because, like, okay, so we're changing the rating. Okay, fine. That's dandy and all. But does that mean that we're going to change anything on the programming? Is the booking going to be different? Is the creative going to be different? Are we going to keep seeing rematches? Are things just magically going to change? I don't think so. And you know what? I'm more than happy to be proven wrong in this scenario. Trust me, I would love to be proven wrong, but I just don't think that it's that big of a deal in terms of like people like getting excited about the programming changing and what's being presented on TV. I feel like this is a lot of like there's a lot of people that feel that, WWE went a bad direction when they went to the PG era and all of this, right? So there's people that are like, oh, it started sucking when it went to the PG era, right? There's a lot of people that think that. So I almost feel like this is just like a way to be like, no, well, we're, TV-14, we're no longer the PG era. Come back to us, come back. But unless the programming itself is going to change, unless there's somebody in there now with new and fresh ideas for the product, I'm not expecting anything to be different.
I don't think we're going to see a huge change in this program. Like, there's not going to be like blood and guts style matches because Vince McMahon don't like that. Like the product that he had in the 90s, which was like clean cut before they went into the Attitude Era and they started doing blood and stuff. But really, the only reason they did that was because the competition was doing it and they felt like they had to do it in order to keep up. But Vince McMahon is a guy, he's a granddad. He doesn't really like that style of programming. He likes to make programs that appeal to children. He likes to make children's programming. So he's not going to want to go out there and do blood and things like that, unprotected chair shots or anything like that. If anything, the only thing that may change about the show, it going back to TV-14, will be maybe they'll say damn. And maybe they'll say ass a few more times. Like they will drop an S bomb because like that's what AEW are doing. But like there's absolutely no way in hell after him. The reason why the AEW War Games match is called Blood and Guts is because on a conference call with investors, Vince McMahon says we're not like that blood and guts in reference to AEW. So he's not just going to go back to that because they got sponsors, pal.
Exactly. And I was going to add one more thing. So, WrestleTalk has been TV PG. Can we change to TV-14? Because I feel like it would make our lives a lot easier on this show.
Because you just want to be dropping S-bombs and F-bombs all over the place.
In the spirit of WWE, there's going to be more change. If we were to go to a more, if you were to be a little bit more lenient with me on this show, Luke, I think there would be a bigger change here on WrestleTalk than there would be on WWE Raw in regards to our rating.
Because we're not giving TV PG.
We're not. Yeah. Can we stop being like TV? What's below TV PG? Isn't it freaking the?
Well, I mean, here in the UK,
there's the other one. Yeah, there's the other one that's right below. I think it's like rated. Like, no, it's not G. Is
G,
it
right?
It's
yeah, it's
G.
G.
Yeah.
In
we're
the UK,
that.
Rated,
we're honestly like we're Disney. We're like Disney Channel, Junior, whatever, Nickelodeon. We're like on the baby series. Come on, Luke. We need to edge it up on here.
Yeah, because that's a bad thing, isn't it? Being as successful as Disney. Oh dear. Like, what a bad idea that is.
But you know what? I don't... never mind. I have no comeback for that. You're right.
Look, we are slaves to the YouTube algorithm. And they have sold us directly, don't be doing it. So
Look,
we don't
all I'm going to say is this, Luke. To say whatever I want on my channel, and I've never had an issue with the algorithm being like, no, Denise, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, all I'm saying, I'm going by what YouTube told us themselves. And better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
I'm just saying, YouTube literally keeps up some like really questionable content on this platform. Like there are some questionable videos out there.
Yeah, and they're successful ones, so they're allowed to stay up.
No, I'm like, there's some questionable stuff, and they're like, oh, it's cool, no big deal. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to like, I'm just want to be allowed to not get in trouble on the show whenever I accidentally say a bad word.
I don't think you ever get in trouble, Denise. I will play up my shock and everything, but I don't think you're not getting in trouble.
Well, I feel like the dad disappointed vibes from you. Like I feel like, damn, I really messed up,
Maybe it's because I'm such a good actor. Like my years of being a theater kid really have started to like finally pay off for once.
So yeah, there'd be more of a change here than in WWE. Like unless they're going to bring somebody in, like I said, with like brand new ideas, groundbreaking new ideas. But unless that happens and we start seeing a change in the creative and in the booking and all of that good stuff, I'm not expecting anything of a change. And I feel bad if there's somebody here that was like, damn it, I was really hoping we'd go back to the Attitude Era. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I don't think so as well. Like Sean posted an update for this on Fightful Select saying, for those expecting a significant content adjustment, might end up being disappointed. While NXT has racier content regularly, it is still rated TV PG, and the content that airs is still up to the creator itself. Unlike the MPAA for movies or ESRB for video games, cable television shows aren't required to meet certain standards in order to retain TV PG status or remove to TV-14 status. For instance, WWE could very well self-rated Raw at TV PG during the Attitude Era with some oversight ramifications. However, input from the networks and sponsors about the content is always taken into effect. And that's exactly it. Like, they've got sponsorships with Mattel. They've got sponsorships with Snickers. Like, they are not going to risk those just so, like, it's funny. Like, do you know what's on Raw? Brock Lesnar dropped an S-bomb in the opening of the show. I thought he'd said ass kicking, but apparently he said S kicking. So he dropped a swear. And USA, this is according to Meltzer, USA signed it off. And they said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Go ahead and do it. And then when the show broadcast, they were like, no, we're censoring that, actually. We're not actually having that go out at 8 p.m.
It's so weird. I mean, it's not weird because that's just the way that they work and that's just the way that things are. So I feel like, again, and I feel bad. Honestly, I feel bad. I legitimately feel bad for people that thought that there was going to be like a major difference. And, you know, that's the thing with like NXT. Like NXT is a little bit like they do more like read in between the lines type of stuff. Like I wouldn't like some stuff, I guess you can call it a little bit edgier, but I don't even really feel like it's that edgy. It's just like they do like tongue-in-cheek stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know what like Sean may be referencing there, but maybe he's talking about Toxic Attraction being
because they're like, you know, they come out and they're all like sexy.
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, well, such a sexy thing, right? Like that is essentially what NXT is.
Oh my God, is that the face you give your wife?
Oh God,
it's
I'm
time,
so
girl.
Yeah, come on now. This is it.
How did you become a father, Luke? With that face, I would have been like, boy, bye.
Denise, I look in the mirror every day and I wonder that. I'm like, hey, how the hell did you bag your hot wife and B, she let you impregnate her? How did this happen?
That's amazing, Luke. You're like, hey, girl, let's get it on.
Come on. Toxic attraction over here.
Stop it. I have a terrible image in my mind now. Oh my God. Bless her heart.
Bless her.
And I've seen you in the freaking when you were lukewarm Luke Owen. Am I saying that right? When you had the vest and the chest hair, and I had to do a full 1 hour show with you like that. So now I have like
period of time.
I imagine you with
so much.
I imagine you with that face and that costume. And my imagination has run wild. I need these images out.
If anyone's curious, my wife never asked me to wear it in the bedroom. Like it remained in the office and there it stayed. And I think then it just went in the bin.
I remember that episode, she felt bad for me because I had to do the entire show with you like that.
I felt bad for you, Denise. I
didn't care.
I looked like such a doofus for so long. It was all Ollie's idea. He was like, "Oh, it'll be really funny," and I'm like, "I just look like an idiot. Like this is real stupid."
It was amazing, though. It's just like now I have a really great visual, and I think everybody here has a visual now of how Luke became a father.
It's my new Disney Plus TV series, How I Became a Father. Anyway, like it's
TV PG. Anyway, it's not TV PG.
That's not TV PG. Let me tell you this much. That ain't TV PG. Anyway, so like NXT it kind of presents itself with this ratio. Like it is a horny show, NXT. Like 2.0 is a horny ass show. Like Raw ain't gonna be that. Like I think they're trying to do it with NXT UK, with NXT 2.0 because they're like, this will be a way to appeal to the younger demographic. I think that's their aim for it, right? But like, I don't think they're going to be doing that on Raw. Like, you know, but having said that, Alexa Bliss did a topless thing on Raw a few years back. That was TV PG. Liv Morgan's return promos before she came back as well was going to be Lana's lover, but then they scrapped that. She did like vignettes in a bath and things like that. So they've done this before in the PG era. I don't think that's going to TV-14. It's going to be like, oh, cool. Well, now that's what we're going to have all the women do again. Johnny Ace is gone. It's probably not going to happen.
And I think that, like on NXT, they have toned down a little bit of like the juiciness on the show. I don't like to say the H word. Sorry. So
you don't want to say horny, Denise?
I don't like saying that word. I feel like that's worse than like shit and damn and all of those other words. I don't like the H word. It just sounds so inappropriate. So I say juicy. It sounds terrible.
Juicy's so much worse than saying
juicy's
horny.
Better. You'd be like,
no,
you're feeling juicy?
No, that's so much worse than he's never say that.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's so much
It's
worse.
not. Juicy's so much more appreciated because you could literally be like, let's say, for example, you're you're at a party. Let's just, I mean, I'm not saying I would do this, but I'm just trying
I'm
to give
always
an
at parties as
example.
well. Yeah,
Okay,
go
so
for it.
you're at a party. You're not just going to be like, oh, I'm so H word, right? You know,
and you're not going to say I'm so juicy either.
No, but at least if someone says like, oh, I'm juicy, like, no, there's a better chance that people are going to be like, oh, she's thirsty. She wants some juice. Versus like, oh, she wants it, you know?
I mean, we've just had a vision into how I became a father. Is this what we're looking at for your wedding night? You'll be like, oh, I'm
God,
so juicy.
No. Oh, hell no. Oh, hells no. No, look, Luke, I am looking to become a freaking mama on my honeymoon, okay?
Oh, I'm feeling so juicy right now.
No, oh God, no. But I just prefer saying juicy instead of the H word.
Mod Mother, can we have a poll, please? If YouTube will allow us.
What's worse?
Which is worse, horny or juicy?
I'm telling, like, I can't even say it. Like, I feel uncomfortable saying it. No, like, I just don't say it.
Okay, well, it's fine. You don't have to read the results out. I'll read the results out because I'm comfortable saying both words.
See, juicy is not bad.
I feel bad for Mod Mother, though, because she's like, the word vomit is going to...
Wait, I don't get it.
Well, I think the word that we keep saying is going to make her ears bleed because all we're doing is just talking about juicy and horny.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's proof. The H word is no bueno.
It's no bueno. Okay, yeah, so... You're right. Like, I think the real thing that if we're going to get any form of change in this show, it's whether or not there's a change at the top. Like, and that's not like Vince McMahon. Like, it's
that
head of
includes
creative.
Bruce Pritchard as well, because I think we're starting to know. Well, we've been noticing the man's been recycling too many ideas. You know,
absolutely, yeah. And
like the same 5 ideas on repeat.
But also, I think like when Heyman had his brief run with the book on Raw, and he did things like the Lana, Lashley, and brought Liv Morgan in for that, tried to do sort of like a love triangle thing, and Rusev was in there as well. It's like, oh, Liv Morgan was her lesbian lover and all this sort of stuff. Like, people didn't react to it very well. Like, we are in a different society now.
What do you
that
prefer?
Actually looks at it as like it's not actually that cool.
Would you prefer like a wonky idea that's like, you know, it's not great and it's a bunch of like randomness, you know, like just dumb, like, you know, like that? Or do you prefer like, but at least there's some effort put in terms of like, oh, this is stupid and we're going to put all of this together and somehow this is going to be magic? Or do you prefer like, let's just go with the same old Brock and Roman, you know, type of thing?
I'll be honest with you. So I was talking to SP3 today. And we were on the phone and we were just chatting away. And I said, like, hey, do you know what, like, the biggest problem with Raw is? Like, it's, you know, I've been through some dirt periods with Raw. Sorry, no, it was Sat I was having this conversation with. I've been through some dirt period with Sat Inyangi, who does our NXT show. So, like, I've been through some dirt periods of Raw. Like, I think the mid-2000s was awful. Really, really bad. Didn't make me want to watch the product. The early aughts, really, really bad. Or, like, the Nexus stuff, the balding up of the CM Punk stuff, real, real bad. I've been through some terrible periods of Raw. But I'd probably watch those more now than I'd watch the current product, because at least that was bad. This is just boring. Like,
okay, thank you. That's what I was trying to get at.
And boring for me is so much worse, because like I come into on a Tuesday morning and me and like whoever I'm doing the show with have got to come up with a title for the Raw review. And I'm like, well, it's a 3-hour show and nothing happened because it's a boring television show. And that for me is actively worse.
I completely agree. I will take, well, see that it sounds, that's really sad that our bar is, I take bad over boring. Like that's not the best way of putting it. But I mean, that is kind of what I was trying to get to. It's like, I would rather take like something that's bad and awful and like a train wreck where I'm like, oh, because you know what? At least bad gives me something to talk about 100%. On shows versus like boring. I'm like, so this happened on tonight's show.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Me and Tempest were talking about this recently with Brian and Vinny's reviews of Impact. And like they used to review TNA every week. And the TNA reviews, while a lot of people fondly remember the Brian and Vinny show. People still love the Brian and Vinny show now, but they look back at that adrenaline flush era of them reviewing TNA shows. It's like, that's peak Brian and Vinny. And when they stopped reviewing the shows, it wasn't because the shows were bad. It's just like, this is a boring show now. Like back when it was a barbed wire Christmas tree hanging from a ring and all this, like an absolute reverse battle royals and all this nonsense, there's stuff to talk about. Like there's stuff to get angry about and stuff to be mad about. If it's just Bully Ray versus Magnus, like there's nothing really there to dive into. So there's no point in us reviewing this show.
Exactly. And that's literally how I feel. Like, for example, like even just like this past week on Tuesday for NXT, one of the things that, like, a lot of people weren't happy about the breakup with Roxanne and Cora Jade and all of that. And I thought to myself, oh my God, at least it gave me something to talk about for this review show. Because other than that, like, oh my God, we had like Songa versus, I forgot who it was, freaking like Duke Hudson or something. I don't even remember anymore. And I just talked about that show. And I'm like, who cares? Nobody. So at least with that, even though a lot of people weren't, over the moon about it, I was like, thank God I have something to discuss on this show because there's nothing else to go over. And it's like, you think about SmackDown, same thing. There's nothing going on. Then they put this terrible segment with maximum male models. And while I hated it, at least it gave me something to talk about.
Yeah,
and that's really sad.
It was a divisive segment. There are some people who really thought it was dumb. There were some people who thought it was the greatest thing they'd ever seen and thought it was actually really funny.
I stand by what I said. Where are you at on that, Luke?
Where do I stand on it?
Do you actually care about your life and how you spend your time? Or do you just not care about your life at all, Luke?
So I tend to watch SmackDown in YouTube clips. So I get to see the cut down version of it, right? Like my kid doesn't sit still long enough for me to watch SmackDown anymore, so I can't.
So let me get
watch
this straight. You'll technically only watch SmackDown if you heard everybody was talking about this one particular thing, and you're like, okay, fine, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, exactly. I will listen to Pete and Tempest's review of it, and I will listen to Sean review it on Fightful, and I will just be like, cool, maybe I'll go and check out that segment then.
Let me tell you, you're not missing much. You're missing.
Oh, I know.
You're missing Shanky dancing.
Yeah. Oh, I heard. I'm missing out. I missed out on so many like Pete Dunne versus Xavier Woods matches when they were having that. Yeah, I missed out on all of that.
With like the same finish over and over.
Oh, yep. Missed on all of that. I missed out on Roman not being there.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just missing a whole bunch.
So I suppose the question is, Denise, like, you kind of gone over this already, but I do wonder, like, if say they had the creative shackles have been thrown off. Say even Vince is like, cool, we'll do a little bit more. We'll throw some blood out there. We will do more hardcore matches that will have some bit more gorier finishes in this. We'll make things a bit sexier, a bit racier. We'll try and do this and the other. Do you think it could improve Raw in some aspects? Do you think there is an audience that will come in for that?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think people... and yeah, it'll be different, depending on the person, because that's the thing. Like, I think like going to the WWE shows, you realize this a lot more. But I mean, the audience between WWE and AEW feels like night and day to me. Going to the shows, for example, if I go to the AEW shows, like for the most part, I'm seeing the same kind of person over and over again. Let's just be real, a bunch of dudes, right? There's a lot of dudes
that look like me.
There's a lot of dudes there, okay? And obviously there's, women too, but for the most part, there's a lot of dudes and a couple of kids spread out here and there, but not too many. Then you go to a WWE show, and I remember, obviously this is something I've noticed before, but it's different when you're like standing like right there and you're like realizing it. So I don't know if I said this before, but when I went to Access for Dallas, I think that's when it really hit me, like the difference between the two worlds, because I was standing in line for Access. I don't get to stand in line very often anymore, Luke, I'm not a line person, but this time I had to stand in line. So I was in line and I was just there with a bunch of families, like maybe even people that maybe watch on a weekly basis, maybe don't watch on a weekly basis. I don't know. But it was just kind of crazy because it was just a bunch of little kids everywhere. It kind of felt like Chuck E. Cheese. And it was so cute because I remember like the people behind me were like, the mom was telling the little kid, like, if you keep getting straight A's, we'll bring you to WrestleMania next year. And I think just like hearing the conversations and like being like right in the gist of it all, it really hit me like these are two totally different worlds in the sense of like who they're catering to and all of that. And so I was trying to get to the point where it's like, yeah, like some things may be like knowing that they have like such a huge family audience and such a huge like casual audience. I do get why they went about things a certain direction, but I don't think that it's going to hurt if they, add a little bit more of those, maybe a little bit more of this like sexy stuff or all of that, you know. I don't think it'll hurt too much, but I just don't see them going all the way with it, especially like seeing like, especially how things are right now, like in this political landscape, you know, all of that. You know, there's certain things that just don't fly anymore.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, I think when they did the Alexa Bliss thing or the Liv Morgan promos, there we were getting chats from people being like, "I don't like this. Like, this isn't really what I want from my wrestling show." And I've seen people say it about NXT. Like, the jokes that people make about NXT aren't that it's a bad show. It's just like, this show's really juicy, and I don't understand why it's so
Why'd you say juicy, huh? You didn't feel comfortable saying the H where you're like, it's juicy. I would
pop you. Like, I think they would just like, oh my god, the show's so horny. Like, why is this show much hornier than it used to be?
Stop.
But like,
yeah, my ears are bleeding too.
But because like I would say that you've told the story before. But like, if you have a family that are used to taking their kids to the WWE show, and you went to a show when you were a teenager, that you went with your uncle, and they were doing that HLA stuff.
Oh, dude, I saw like all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. Like, is that something a parents can be like, I don't think we should bring the kid to this anymore.
Different time periods.
What I'm saying is like now. Like if they would,
that's what I'm saying. Different time periods. When I was growing up watching this stuff on WWE TV and seeing all these things that I didn't know what the hell. I mean, I was seeing people in bed together, people making out. I didn't get the Chuck and Billy storyline for the long. I was so dumb. I didn't get it. I was like, why is everybody making a big deal about it? Like I didn't get it at the time.
Raw at one point had Edge with a semi-boner on TV. Like that was on live TV.
I'll tell you this much, and here's a perfect example of this. So there was a lot of stuff that I got to watch, right? There was a lot of stuff that my uncle would tell me, Denise, you got to leave the room. I missed a lot of stuff because my uncle would tell me, you need to leave the room. Why? Because God knows what was happening on the programming that I had to leave the room. So while it was a different time period and there was a lot more that I got to see that maybe, this day and age, 10, 11-year-olds. But here's the thing, though. 10, 11-year-olds are seeing this stuff on TikTok. I feel like parents are probably sheltering their kids so much, or like corporations are sheltering kids. But I'm like, I have little kids in my family. I know what they're seeing on TikTok. I hear the language that they're using. They sound worse than I ever did. And I never spoke like that at that age. Like I didn't curse or anything like that, but I was seeing all this stuff on television, but I wasn't like cursing or anything. So anyways, it's just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes like maybe just kids know more than parents are letting on.
Yeah, but I think like, looking at 10-year-olds, maybe you're right. Like I think maybe even younger than that. Like, I don't know, because actually having said that, okay, so here's a fun story for you. We were talking with a client recently and they were talking about their great success that they've had on TikTok, and none of us in the office are on TikTok, right? So we had to download the TikTok app because you cannot look at it through a web browser because we're old and that was the first thing we tried. So we downloaded Ollie's on his phone. He downloads the TikTok app thing, right? And he puts in his birthday. Like he puts in his birthday, diddly 1988, because that is how old that we are. I'm actually older than he is. So like we are mid-80s children, right? And he is like, put in your interest, and he's like, I can't be bothered with this. And I said, look, there's a skip button right there. Just skip it. And he just like, so all TikTok had to go on was his birth year. And the first video they showed him was a girl with quite big tits bouncing them. And I was like, is this what TikTok is? I have no idea because I've never been on it before. And I was like, is this what this is? Because that was all through no interest whatsoever. It was the first video they gave him.
I'm sorry. There's a lot in here that I'm trying to register. First off, the TikTok. Just say TikTok, Luke. Just TikTok, not the TikTok app.
Specifically,
he downloaded TikTok.
Yeah, downloaded the TikTok app.
No, take away the. Don't say the in front of TikTok. It ages you like 10 years. I'm just trying to help you here, Luke. Oh, he downloaded TikTok. That's it. That's how you say it. He didn't download the TikTok app.
I downloaded the TikTok app.
No, it's just TikTok. Don't say the in front of it. It ages you. And then my favorite part of this whole story was diddly dee. He diddly dee. Okay, but yes, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, there's a whole like world. I mean, there's a lot. I just know stuff.
Oh, Denise.
I just know. I read a lot of articles. I see what's going on. There's an entire there's billions of people.
I look at it for the articles.
Luke, There's billions of people on TikTok, okay?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
millions, billions, whatever the hell the number is, okay? The point is, you think that these are all perfect little innocent human beings on here? There's a bunch of porn. There's conspiracy theory. Let me tell you, you know what's terrible? Remember during the vaccine, and sorry, I'm going to just bring this up really quickly. When during the vaccine, you know how there was a bunch of people that were like, no, we can't get the vaccine and this and that because of this and that. So many of those videos were on TikTok to the point where like my little 12-year-old brothers that are like, you know, they're impressionable at that age. They were coming up to my mom being like, Mom, we don't want to get the vaccine because we saw this on TikTok and this and that. My mom had to like literally beg them to get the vaccine. Okay. It was because of all of this stuff that they were seeing on TikTok where they were like being brainwashed by God knows who on these conspiracy videos. So it's like, there's a lot of stuff on there that I think people would be surprised and it's funny too, because a lot of parents are like, no, we're not going to let them get Instagram. We're not going to let them get Twitter or anything like that. But TikTok's okay because it's just dancing.
I think probably might think that about YouTube as well, but I think there's a darker side to YouTube than we probably know. I think there's I actually said that you found out about a darker side of Twitter fairly recently when someone asked you to be a pay pig, or someone was asking to be a pay pig for you.
Oh yeah. No, but that was on Instagram. Instagram's dirty. Instagram's gross. It's filled with filthy people on there. It's just a bunch of juicy dudes that want to get like action.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
It's just a bunch of juicy dudes that are like, you know what comment I got the other day? And this is what I hate too, because everybody's so lame. Like if you're going to leave an inappropriate comment to someone, do it with your real account. Don't do it with a burner. Like I hate people that hide behind a burner. I got somebody that was like, oh, Denise, you'd be the perfect spinner. You had to Google that.
My God.
You see what I mean? It's disgusting.
Christmas Day. Holy heckins. That's quite a term.
Yeah, I have to basically like Instagram is where I block more people. I block more people on Instagram than on Twitter.
Yeah, it's amazing. I never get those comments. People never say that about me. I don't know why.
Aww.
Maybe it's my face. People never say that about me.
You'd be a great spinner, Luke.
Oh, well, thank you, Denise.
Can you be a spinner too? I don't know. I think you have to be a petite person.
Let's have a look. I've got a bit of a gut.
You have to be a petite person.
Spinner meaning.
But I don't know. Like if you're a petite dude, I guess you can be a spinner. I don't know.
Urban Dictionary, aren't I?
Look, I did a quick Google search. I didn't go beyond that. What are you doing? Luke? Stop it.
Sorry. Well, I had to Google what the thing meant, and it was what I thought. Yeah. I think I'm too chubby for that. I don't think that's gonna work.
Sorry, your spinning career is over.
So I just don't think that's possible. Like legs are gonna get in the way. Yeah, legs are getting in the way. That's guys, come up with better things. That's not gonna work. There's too many moving parts for that.
I don't know. All I'm saying is Instagram is where I learned pay pig, spinner, and some other stuff that I don't remember anymore.
Anyway, so thank you so much for this wonderful insight into the chat here and for TV-14.
Oh yeah, Instagram. I also got an offer to go to some man's basement.
Oh,
I don't know why, but apparently he wants me in his basement.
I don't think that's an offer. Like that is like
no, he did. He offered me. He asked me what my rate would be for that.
No, I get that, but it's not like it sounds like an appealing offer. It's like, hey, do you want to come down to my basement? Like I don't think no one's writing that out. Be like, well, this sounds like a sexy thing to do, isn't it? Do you want to come down to my basement?
Luke, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I think there are some maybe less intelligent people out there that would be like, well, if you pay me $300, I'll be there.
I'll go to your basement. It sounds like a terrible idea. That sounds like Murdersville right there.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Like, okay. I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, this podcast has been wonderful. We've also had quite a few Ultrachats in about this because I agree with you. Like, I was quite surprised by the reaction this got last night when the news came out. Like last night over here when the news came out, like Andrew Zarian put his tweets out and like Pete did like a breaking news video on it. And I was like, really? It's like, I don't think anyone's really going to care that much. And the video did massive numbers. And I was like, well, joke's on me. Apparently people do care about this. And this has been one of our more Ultrachatted in topics in a while. So I think people are... Yeah, kind of like they are into this. Like outside of the Vince stuff, people are like kind of want to talk about this by the looks of things.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I like this. WWE's next premium live event in your basement.
We should in your basement.
That's so good. Adam Blandplate, who's been a member for 8 months in a row, said, if WWE do go back to TV-14, I don't think it will solve booking issues. The company is only Vince leaving that will give the product a chance.
Ding, 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 ding. There you go. I'm going to start giving Prices Right responses.
Chris here says that this isn't the first time that WWE has gone TV-14 because they did it during the pandemic era when Braun threw Alexa during his feud with The Fiend. Was that a TV-14 show?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm pretty sure like they have been PG since like 2008.
Yeah.
And it's been a consistently a PG show since then. I might be wrong on that one though. So chat, if you can.
I don't think so. That was what I knew. So unless there's anything different, then jokes on us.
Turf, Wind and Fire said, just popping in while on a quick break from work, the whole TV-14 feels like a massive misdirection from the Vince issues. I doubt anything will really change as WWE has basically been TV-14 for a while. Just to kind of poo-poo upon that conspiracy theory that this is WWE trying to, throw smoke on the fire. I'd be like, oh no, look, nothing bad's happening over here. This was a USA memo. So this is a USA Network decision, not a WWE decision.
So yeah, I think again, I don't even care whose idea was. It ain't going to do enough difference. I was shocked too, honestly. I was the way you were too, where people were really interested in talking about this. And I was like, okay, sure.
The Mikey Chaos says, now I can watch WWE bury my favorite superstars in TV-14. But seriously, after hearing the report that WWE could have done this at any time makes me think this is an attempt at putting the company in more of a positive light during the Vince allegations. Again, it's a USA Network call. Homestar Fan 13 said, I've said for years that WWE going PG was never the issue. NXT was also PG, and it was some of the best WWE content they've ever produced. People have been scapegoating PG for years because people don't want to admit the Attitude Era had bad content as well. I mean, that's a fairly true fact. People like to just look back at the Attitude Era with rose-tinted glasses, but a lot of it's real trash, and a lot of it's not really good at all. There's just some really great moments in there, but there's also awfully toilet moments in there as well.
So who's going to be our Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Oh, Austin Theory.
Of course.
Who else could it possibly be?
I don't know.
The mayor of Painesville, Dan, said, hello, you magnificent people. I really hope you're having a great day. WWE going back to TV-14? As a, let's call it, tenured wrestling fan, I do not expect anything to change. What's going to happen? Vince going full Zach Gowen on someone? Nah, nothing around here changes.
You know what? I'm blaming Andrew Zarian. I'm blaming Andrew Zarian because he put in his tweet, the PG era is over. And I think that's what did it. That was oh yeah, here we go.
So that's what you think it is. So what we're saying is that this is all Andrew's fault. Can we just send him a message now and be like, Denise saying this is all your fault? She had to spend an hour talking with me about this and it's all your fault.
We could have just been talking about weird Instagram stuff.
O2 Tenka said, has Denise ever heard the pigeon story? Please tell it in the detail so I can laugh again. Anyways, about the PG-14 stuff, TV-14 stuff, I don't think anything will change. Bad storytelling will continue. Denise, I'm going to have to get you to translate this for me because I don't know what it means. I'm just popping it in the private chats.
Oh, the teacher's saying, eres demasiada genial. Yeah, so basically saying I'm very genuine. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, that's very true. Tails P said the rating will change.
He's
nothing
also
because
said that I deserve a raise.
Wow, there's a lot in that, and just those a few words that he says wrote
that I'm
down.
Genuine, deserve a raise, and yeah, that was it.
Have you ever watched the show Superstore?
No. Hey, okay. But I did watch How to Build a Sex Dungeon on Twitter. I mean, on Netflix. On Netflix, oh, it's good. If you haven't seen it, it's a good show. I'm not even messing around. It's a good show. I'm telling you. I started watching it on Sunday, and I watched the first 6 episodes.
That's okay. Very cool.
It's not what you think. If you're into design and stuff, oh, you'll like the show. I love to watch design shows. I was obsessed with that design game, remember?
Yeah, I like design. Okay. I remember. Yeah, I like design.
And then just
shows.
add people's sex lives on top of that. Oh, it's very interesting because every couple is so different. And you're some things would surprise you. You'd be like, what? You look at a couple and you think, oh, that's, you probably have a picture of what their lives might be like. And then you find out way more. And then there was one that was those polyamorous or poly something freaking couples, and there was a seven couple family Anyways,
Amen.
that
Denise,
was interesting.
Louis 3 did a great documentary about all of this. I mean, I'll add it to the list. Okay,
Hold
sorry,
on.
Denise.
And then
Yeah.
I saw my first set of Sister Wives in real life when I went to Las Vegas. I saw 2 sets of Sister Wives. I was like over the moon. I was so excited about it.
What that means against Sister.
It basically so I saw a man with 2 wives twice in Las
Right.
Vegas.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'd never seen it in person. So I was very excited. I was like, there they are. There they are.
Like,
Okay.
I
don't mean
wonder
to
if
be
this show would
judgy,
actually be.
but
I think we'd probably have a good time with that show. I'll add it to the list. It's probably going to be better than the new Resident Evil series, which all told is not very good at all. But it actually reminded me, we've got a show here in the UK that I wonder if you would be. I don't think you would, but I think you'd be surprised to hear that we have a show here like this. It's called Naked Attraction. Do you know the show?
no, what is it?
So Naked Attraction is a dating show where a man or a woman is the datee and they're looking for their suitor. But rather than being judged on personality, they are judged solely on their looks. So far, so standard. But those looks are completely nude. So they are like, she will have like, he or she will have like 5 picks, like 6 picks behind like these sort of frosted glass, like elevator things. And it will just show their feet and their legs. Then it will show their genitals, then their top half, and then reveal their faces. And you eliminate them based on like the appearances that you've seen thus far before the next section is revealed.
Sorry. I need to see face first, man. Because like if you have a banging body, but then your face is hideous, like no thanks.
Well, that's the part of the experiment. Is that like, are you going to be like attracted to just the fact that they've got a really nice bod, or are you going to be like looking for something else?
Ew, I could never. No thanks. I'm out. I'd rather be a sister wife. at least if I'm a sister wife, the guy might be hot, you know.
Tails P said the rating will change nothing because WWE don't see anyone as potential champions like back in the day. We had Rock, Austin, Foley, everyone from DX besides Road Dogg had WWF championship matches. We're not getting China feuds. At most, we're getting Toxic and Divas back. Yeah, I mean, like, I think Toxic Attraction will get a main roster call up as a thing.
They should. Honestly, they should. They're a main roster act, and I feel bad for Mandy. I think it's a demotion going to, going from main roster to NXT 2.0. I don't want to be messed up, but it's a little bit of a demotion.
I kind of see what you mean as well, Tails P. Like back in the Energy era, it did feel like there were multiple people that could be going for the world title. Like, yeah, sure, Billy Gunn went for the world title, but he wasn't going to win. But hey, it was, Billy Gunn was like, he won King of the Ring. Like it felt like, was always trying to create new people.
Right.
Aaron Smith said, PG or not, it doesn't matter. WWE is stale, and until Vince or Bruce no longer have control of creative, the product will not get any better. Despite many of its faults, at least the majority of what WWE do is... Despite all of the many faults of AEW, at least a majority of what they do is interesting. That is for dang sure. Like we've said this before, like I go in to do the show on a Thursday for Dynamite. Me and Ollie can sit down and be like, man, we've got 4 or 5 topics we could do here as our lead thing for Dynamite. I ain't got that for Raw. We do not have that for SmackDown.
AEW show. AEW show.
Thank you very much.
I had to. It's going to happen in the comment section. While I definitely agree with you, I'm just trying to bully you a little bit.
Apparently, there was an episode of SmackDown that aired during 2020 that had a TV-14 rating. Thank you to those who updated us.
There you go.
Yeah,
now
and it was literally
foolish.
It was literally the moment that Chris talked about, because I was just looking at the thumbnail for it here. It's Braun Strowman holding Alexa Bliss up to quote-unquote entice the Fiend.
We don't deserve this job. We're out.
We're being replaced. Chris is also back to said they also had it back when the stagehand walked in on Alexa while changing. So this leads you to return to smuts like Bliss and Bra and Panties matches. I'm not into it.
Oh God, no, I don't think we'll get bra and panties matches. Although I will tell you this though, playing those on video games is really fun. The bra and panties matches. Yeah, I used to play those on video games.
Weird that they were in there, but like as a teenage boy, I was like, oh, this is great. Like it's a bra and panties match in TV.
Oh, I
like,
can imagine.
Like pixelated Trish Stratus boobs. Like what a great game.
And I'm sure boys were like, oh, pixelated boobs. Oh. You just know it. And Luke, I saw your bedroom when you were a teenager.
I was about to say, I'm not one to be sat here being like, oh God, can you imagine those teenagers? Because I was that teenager.
I know. I saw your picture. I had a discussion with my fiance, and I was like, imagine if our son was like that, like had a bunch of pictures of all these women on his walls, and he'd be like, he was okay with it, but I was like, I don't think I'd be okay with it. As a mother, I would not want my kid to be little Luke Owen with all of these women on his wall.
I was appreciating the form of woman.
Yeah.
I was very much smitten by the form of woman. So clearly I wasn't doing it to to objectify. I was there. It was like a shrine almost, like Hey Arnold.
Of course.
That's
like
exactly
museum.
it.
The museum of women appreciation.
The Women Appreciation Society. That's what I had.
There you go. The women appreciation. The WAS.
WAS. That's what I was. Anyway, my mother didn't like it either.
So anyways, you were a big discussion. Congratulations. Your teenage you was a discussion at our dinner table.
Lastly from Chris as well, he just wants to say, wish you good luck with your wedding. Which actually
thank you. I'm getting married in 16 days. I counted wrong. Yesterday I put 18, but it was technically 17. I done fucked up.
Oh, when I messaged you about going to SummerSlam, that's why you said you won't go to SummerSlam. Yeah. All right. Okay, that makes way more sense then, because I was like, I would have thought Denise was going to SummerSlam, but that's why you're not going.
Everybody's asked me. Everybody, you going to SummerSlam? No.
I even knew the date of your wedding, and I still didn't even put those two and two together.
I know.
Legit Underboss said, going TV-14 is like when Snakes on a Plane changed to a rated R movie just because you could add a curse word in. It doesn't mean it's not bad. I could see Raw and NXT going to TV-14 and SmackDown saying PG to appease the sponsors, but really, it's not going to change anything.
Ding, ding, ding. Same thing.
We have got a new member, the Other Tempest. Thank you all so much. Nathan Portman says, good morning, everyone. I have a passion for cooking. So here's my out of the subject question. What is a dish from England/Cali, I think that's where Denise is from, that you would recommend I make? Thanks for making work and long drives fun. Have a great weekend.
I'm a huge fan of chilaquiles. I love chilaquiles. They're so good. They're like hard. You get the chips and you make them like tortilla chips. You make them hard and then you put like a sauce. I think it's like, well, I know that you could put it like el pato, but there's like different sauces that you can put, and you can make it with eggs. And I mean, I don't cook them, I just eat them. So I can. There's cheese. I recommend that.
I would recommend you make yourself a real good steak and kidney pie. Steak and kidney pie with some chips and some
steak and kidney pie.
Oh man, when I used to eat meat, that was my pie of choice. Loved steak and kidney pie. The best way to eat steak and kidney pie as well is to, like, especially if you get it from a takeaway, like you get it from a chippy, get it at the pucker pie one. You take the lid off of it, eat the lid, that's grand, and then you use your chip to like dip the gravy. So you dip all your chips into the gravy, scoop out all like the steak and the kidney and stuff. And then afterwards, you can fold that pastry up, and then you got like a pasty. You got like an extra meal in there. Oh, it was the best way.
That does not sound good to me.
Oh man, steak and kidney pie was the absolute best. That would
make
be
yourself
one
some chilaquiles.
That would be a reason for me to go back to eating meat, just so I could have a steak and kidney pie again.
You don't eat meat.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I was to go back to eat meat, like that would be something that would drive me back to eating meat again, so I could have a steak and kidney pie from my local chippy.
Amazing.
Or a steak and ale pie. Harry.
A nail?
No, ale. So
I was like, you put nails in your pie?
no, steak and ale pie. So like steak and beer.
Oh, okay.
Like proper brown beers.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds better than the kidney one.
You've never had kidney before?
Blech, no.
No? You never had liver?
Blech, no.
Oh, it's delicious. Harry here has got he's going to shoot his shot here. He's released his first solo song, and it's on streaming platforms. I can't really share the streaming thing now, or the streaming link now, because I'm not going to read out https://. However, Harry, if you want to plug it into the chat, go right ahead, my friend. You've earned that. Josh says, Team Danuke, love you guys. I needed this. I just found out that a family friend has passed away last night. Thank you to WrestleTalk for everything you do. It means everything to me. Josh, that's really awful news, but I'm very sorry to hear that. Keenan says, first off, you are my favorite compo, Team Danuke, but how do you feel about the word moist if you don't like the word horny? Also, Luke, I've been tweeting you about the new
moist.
You like the word moist?
Moist, because I think of cookies, like moist cookies, chocolate chip cookies.
I mean, you just say moist online several times over is not going to be making people think of cookies. Let me tell you that.
Moist.
For free. Reddit will have a field day with you. Lastly, we do have poll results for which is worse. Man, I can tell you that Horny got 19% of the votes. Juicy got 35% of the votes. So Juicy was rated to be worse than
Watch when you're in a situation where you're going to choose whether or not to say the H word or Juicy, and you're going to go with Juicy. You're going to be like, oh, I can't say the H word.
Here's what I will tell you.
Let's say, for example, your mom was like, hey, are you H? You'd be like, no, mom, I'm not H. Like, that's weird. Like, be honest. Like, if your mom was like, oh, like, let's say your mom was prying into your sexual relationship with you and your wife, and she was like, oh, are you H enough? Be like, no.
Yeah, I don't know why my mom's
comfortable, right?
Because
now,
I don't
let's say
live
your
in a
mom was like,
Pornhub
oh, are you juicy enough in this relationship? You'd be like, first of all, mom, don't butt into my relationship. And secondly, I don't know. It just sounds better. Like, I'm just trying to think of worst case scenario. First of all, your mom should not be asking you about your sex life.
Then why are you holding this hypothetical situation where my mom is asking me this?
I'm thinking of a hypothetical that would make you think like, oh God, the H word sounds horrible. I'm trying to prove a point here.
It's a terrible way to make that point.
Well, I can't think of anything else.
Well, I don't live in a Pornhub scene, so my mum isn't asking me if I'm horny.
Ew, stop it. Neither do I. But I'm just saying, I could bear someone saying juicy. I can't bear someone saying the H word to me.
But anyway, and on that bombshell, it's all we've got time for.
I also don't say the V word.
Which B word?
The V word.
Oh, the V word.
Yeah, no, I don't say the V word either.
Vagina.
Don't say it on the show, Luke. It sounds awful. I was like, don't say it.
I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the same V word because you'd be talking about virginity. I don't know.
No, what? No.
Denise, you don't like the word horny? You might not like the word virgin. I don't know anything about you. Were just talking about my mum asking if I'm horny. You might not like the word virgin. How do I know? Anyway,
I'm done.
On that bombshell, that's all we've got time for on this edition of Quite the WrestleTalk Podcast. Thank you all so much. Denise, plug away. What have you got coming up?
It sounds terrible. Come visit the juiciest YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. It is very moist. Twitter and Instagram @ Denise Salcedo. No, I will not go to your basement.
Mother, I'm very sorry about this episode. I hope Ollie don't watch it. That's all we got time for on this edition of the podcast.
Well, you just told everybody his year of birth, and then he saw big old titties on freaking TikTok.
Well, I mean, if in all fairness, I saw him too. I was sat next to him when he did it. So, like,
you exposed them twice.
I didn't expose him. I exposed TikTok, and I think
you exposed Ollie too, because he didn't tell us. Like, did he follow the account? Did he like stay watching the entire video?
We deleted the TikTok app because none of us need the TikTok app.
Wow. Incredible.
It's not for me. I'll stick with Twitter, thanks. Also, actually, there was something else that you just sorry, Keenan, last thing did say that he's been tweeting me about the new Turtles games, but I've had no reply. I appreciate everyone who's messaging me about the new Turtles game because I love the new Turtles game. I think it is an amazing game. Shredder's Revenge is brilliant, but no one will play it with me in the office. That actually changed slightly on Wednesday because Ollie played it with me for about 10 minutes or so, and Laurie wanted to jump in as well, but we couldn't get the third pad to work. So Ollie and Laurie have played the game with me, or at least have attempted to, but no one else. They just want to play stupid Fall Guys, right? So I appreciate everyone who has asked me to play it online with them, but I do not play games online. I really do appreciate the offer. I just don't play games online. But thank you so much for the offer anyway.
I don't play games online.
It's not my bag. I don't like it. Like, the only way I'll be playing multiplayer games is if someone is in the room with me. It's not for me. I'm too old. Like, I'm too old school. I don't like playing games. Like, even when I used to play games online in the past, it was LAN party, so we were all still in the same room together.
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
Well, then that's just juicy. Anyway, we've got to get out of here now. We're back tomorrow. Tempest and Pete will be reviewing SmackDown and Rampage tomorrow. Until then, everyone, have a great weekend. Take care. I love you. Goodbye.